assuming you don't do like a commercial break in the middle.
OGL HD3 Philadelphia. An Odyssey station. Investor Schooling Live with Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Good afternoon and welcome to Investor Schooling Live. Coming to you from Investor Schooling headquarters. I'm Phil Falcone here with my business partner, Larry Steinhaus. We are the founders of Investor Schooling. Get ready to learn real estate investing and stock option investing. You can call us anytime during the show with your questions at 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137. Yeah, that's right. We're a live program, so you can call us anytime during our show, and we will take your calls. Don't worry about what we're talking about, because we love to take your calls. So, Investor Schooling is located in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, serving the Philadelphia area in a real brick-and-mortar building. That's correct. We are local Philadelphia guys, accessible to our students a minimum of 2 nights per week. Learn this business. That's the business of real estate investing and stock option investing from people who live it every day. Yo, Larry, what's happening?
Oh, my goodness, Phil. You are going to be so happy and so proud of me. I really made somebody angry the other day.
That wouldn't really surprise me.
But first I have to talk about the funny story that happened to you and I Friday night. I thought that was hysterical. So if you guys remember, last week I told a story about this guy, Randy, who sat down at the table with us, and I thought that was absolutely hysterical. The guy, this is the guy with the tip who got mad at me because he gave me the $60 towards the bill, and I gave him the tip based on it. Remember this guy?
Of course I remember him. I was there.
Oh, yeah, you were there. That's right. So on Friday, Phil and I go to a different restaurant, and we're sitting outside, and all of a sudden, I see this guy pull up a chair, sit down at the table, and I realize it's the same guy. I'm like, oh, my goodness, it's Randy. So I look at him, and I go, dude, do you ever ask for permission to sit down at a table, or do you just sit at anybody's table? And if you hadn't heard the story, go back and listen to the podcast or something and hear the story. But the guy sits down and goes, no, I never do ask for permission. And then the waitress comes by, I go, give this guy a drink. He goes, no, I don't want a drink. And he gets up and leaves. And then Phil lets me know later that he set the whole thing up, and I thought it was absolutely hysterical. That was really funny, Phil. I got to admit.
Yeah, well, it doesn't play as funny on the radio, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't play as funny on the radio. You're absolutely right. But I got a story for you, Phil, and I think you're going to find this very interesting. So last week, it's a story about two things that that I'm very fond of. One is cars, and the other one is anti-maskism. I could see the face going already. He's going, oh no, I wish I had control and I can mute him now.
No, that's not what I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I don't know what I'm thinking yet. You haven't told me. You haven't even started whatever story you're going to tell me. So just put it out there.
All right, I'll put it out there. So last Saturday, I'm at one of my houses in Norristown, and I'm showing to a prospective tenant. And on the way back, I decide to go to the Porsche dealer that's right there over there in Norristown, whatever the Porsche dealer is. And I'm going to the Porsche dealer, and I wanted to see if they had any used Porsches. I want to get a convertible because I sold my Mercedes last year, and I do have the Vet, but I don't drive it that often because it's a lot of work to drive it. I wanted to see if I could find an everyday car that I could have that's convertible. So I get there, and they don't have much in stock. So I look at one car, and it was like $92,000, and I'm like, I don't want to buy a used convertible for $92,000. I'd rather buy a new one for $92,000. I could buy a nice BMW or a Mercedes for that price. So I didn't want to buy that. And then I also thinking that last year the reason I sold my Mercedes was because I didn't want it to sit outside and get rained on all the time. So I didn't know if I wanted to get something, really nice and collectible, something that I could let sit in the rain because I don't have enough room in my garage anymore for all my cars. So I go there and I start looking at this car, and somebody comes out and they greet me, and of course they're wearing a mask, and that's fine. And they're wearing a mask, and they greet me, and we start talking, and I look at the one car, and then I look at another car, and then I look at another car, and they had this car back there. It was a Jaguar XK, and it was an older one, and it was really great condition. And I'm thinking, this is great. It's an older car. It's got a lot of miles on it, and maybe this will work. It's a convertible. It's in great shape. It drives nice. It's an 8-cylinder because I like the faster cars. So I make him an offer, and he accepts the offer right there. I drive it, he accepts the offer, and we go inside. And, of course, I'm not wearing a mask because I won't wear a mask anywhere. So I walk inside with the dealer, with the salesman, and we sit down, and we start talking about the car and whatever you have to do when you get a car. I'm not even sitting down for 5 minutes, and the manager, and he looks at me and he goes, "You need a mask," and I go, "I'm not going to wear one," and he goes, "Well, here's one." I go, "I'm not going to wear one," and then all of a sudden the manager comes by and says, "You can't be in here without a mask," and I'm like, "Well, that's not going to happen." He goes, "Well, then you have to wait outside." So I said, "I'm buying a car." He goes, "I don't care. You have to wait outside." I said, "Okay, fine." So I wait outside. Now, I don't know if you remember last week, Saturday. It was like 80, 85 degrees last week, and it was humid. And I'm outside in the heat. Actually, it was with a friend of mine. And I'm outside in the heat, and we're talking, and I'm getting angry. And I'm thinking about this car, and I'm thinking about whether I want to buy the car or not, but I'm also thinking about, the fact that, I really do want to buy the car. So I'm getting angrier and angrier and angrier while I wait outside because he's doing some weirdo paperwork. And he comes back in, and he goes, "Listen," he goes, "Do you want to put a deposit on this?" I go, "Yeah." I said, I'll put a deposit." He goes, "You just have to give me a credit card for a $1,000 deposit. We'll put it down." And I said, "Well, how are you going to deliver the car if I can't go in your office without a mask?" He goes, "Well, what do you want me to do?" I said, "I want you to show up my office on Monday with the car and deliver it there, and I'll pay for the rest." He goes, "Well, how are you going to pay for it?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I'll give you cash. I don't really care. I just want to, I just want to be out of here." So I'm out there in the heat for like a half an hour. He's going back and forth. I'm signing paperwork, going back and forth. Not the bill of sale, but I'm signing the credit card receipt, everything, right? And finally, he says, "All right, great. I'll see you Monday." And I get in my car, and I'm fuming. I'm really, really angry that these people did this to me. So I figure, I go home and I talk to my wife about it, and she's like, "Why would you let somebody treat you that way?" I'm like, "You know what? You're absolutely right." So she said, "You should cancel the car." And I said, "No, I think I really want it." So Monday comes, and I figure the guy's going to call me in the morning, and I'm going to treat them the same way they treat everyone else. So I'm going to make an appointment with the guy. And my appointment in my head was at 2 o'clock. So I figured I'm going to make this appointment at 2 o'clock. He calls me, he leaves a message, and just decides to say, "I'm on my way." And then he comes, and I was in the middle of a meeting. We had a sales meeting that morning, and I'm in the middle of a meeting, and he comes in, he knocks on the door, or he rings the doorbell outside the office, and he's wearing a mask. And one of our employees lets him in. And he walks in, and I go, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm here to deliver the car." I said, "I don't have anything open until 2 o'clock. And he says, "Well," he says, "can you take care of it now?" I said, "No, I'm in the middle of a meeting. I can't take care of it until 2 o'clock. And I said, "And by the way, take that mask off. You're not allowed in my office with that mask on." You should see Phil's face right now. He's going, "Please stop." So I go, "Why don't you wait for me till I'm ready?" So he goes outside, and he wait, and he said, "Should I wait in here?" I said, "No, you have to wait outside, just like you made me wait outside." Hour and a half later, I go out there, and I drive the car again. And the funny part was I get in the car, and I turn on 1210, and I realize that the AM radio doesn't work in that car. And I looked at him, I go, "The AM radio doesn't work in this car. Can you at least have it fixed?" He goes, "No, it's being sold as is." And then I pulled it back in, and I said, "You know what? The way you guys treated me the other day, I don't even want the car." I said, "Just refund my money," and he drove away. And that was what I felt was the right thing to do. And Phil, what do you have to say about that?
Let me tell you a little bit about the topics I plan on talking about on this radio show today. Besides that long drawn-out story about the fact that you made the guy sit in the parking lot and he wouldn't let him in the building.
That's it.
When do you think the real estate market might crash?
When masks come off.
Is there anything people spend more on than their home? Is there a way to maximize profit in the next crash? Why do you think the stock market is heading south? What does the future hold for professional investors? And I like this question. If you've never invested, how do you intend to survive in the future? And then last but not least, our stock option sultan will be here in the last 10 minutes of our show with the picks of the week. If you're an investor who buys stocks or buys options, you definitely want to listen to the stock option sultan. We also got a question emailed into us today. Who is this property pimp guy?
That's true.
So we'll have to get to that.
I think that was the car salesman when he saw the property pimp logo on in our office.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the car salesman anymore.
You don't want to talk about that?
No.
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 Is this upsetting you?
No. I just don't want to talk about the car salesman.
Okay.
Well, by the way, what kind of car were you buying?
It was a Jaguar,
What, an F-Type?
an XK.
What's an XK?
It's a. They don't make it anymore, but it's a convertible. It was a 4-seater convertible. It was actually really nice.
I like
but-
the F-Types.
Yeah, the F-Type's really nice too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that too. Yeah.
They're sweet.
Yeah, it's a nice car.
Yeah,
So,
like
but-
if I
but-
were to buy another car, that's what I would buy.
So I'm debating.
But
whether
I'm
I
not
should-
going to buy it from the guy that you were trying to buy it from.
No, I agreed, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, now you're talking about cars again, and we're boring the audience. It's my fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. Everything is your fault.
I got to tell you something also last week that somebody got upset. So Joanne Saprisi, she's a host on another radio show, and she was listening to the show last week, and she got very upset about the fact that we were using some sound effects in our show. She did not like the sound effects that we were using.
What sound effects were that?
That was the sound effect where we had the toilet flushing.
Who is Joanne?
Yeah, she's on a show. She's on a show that is it's called Conservative. I forgot what it's called. The Conservative Voice, I think it's called, on your favorite radio station with Sam Spicer.
Okay, and why is she telling us her opinions of our show?
I don't know. She just didn't like it. She didn't like the toilet flush sound effect.
Fascinating. I will handle that complaint with the utmost importance.
All right, this one's for her then. No, I guess not. How about that one? Can we get to something that has to do with real estate and stock options, will you?
Let's go right into the first question.
All right.
When do you think the real estate market might crash?
I'm going to say actually soon. And I don't mean soon like next week. I mean soon like in a year or possibly two. And it's really going to be, unfortunately, I thought it would never happen again. I think we're going to have another 2008. And I really do. I think it's unfortunate that this government overreach last year has destroyed many things in the economy that is going to take effect in about a year or
Which
two.
government overreach are you referring to?
The COVID thing. Oh, which particular one?
Yeah.
Well, the biggest one is the COVID one. Because if anybody dies of anything but COVID, it's not a tragedy. Anyway, boy, this is the downer show today.
Well, stop telling long, drawn-out stories about cars.
Okay, or masks.
All right,
or
so
COVID.
have you heard any dates of when the moratoriums on evictions is going to stop?
I believe in the cities that are still pushing it would be December. We have connections with HAPCO, and we can talk to them too, and find out exactly what
so
it
it's
is.
going to go until December.
Yeah, it's
okay?
gonna go to December.
Which means that the courts won't even open up to start addressing all the individuals that need to be evicted from their properties. And the landlords won't get any reprieve for quite a distance down the future. I would say at least a year to a year and a half, because
it'll be backed up.
absolutely, because the courts, they couldn't do it efficiently when they did them consistently.
Absolutely.
So there's
absolutely
no
true.
way,
Yeah.
if you back them up a year and a half, there's no way this thing's going to go for another year and a half. Beyond December of 2021 is what you're saying, which means that the crash, if I had to do a quick calculation, I'd say we're going to have a crash in July of 2022.
So think about this.
Or 2023, actually.
We hang around a lot of investors. Do you know any investors that have houses in Philly that are struggling with this problem?
We know a lot of investors, but a lot of our students don't exactly have buy and hold type properties.
And don't invest in Philly because we warned them.
Well, we don't exactly talk positively about Philly in this school.
Yeah, well,
And the reason we don't,
investing in Philly, yeah,
the
absolutely.
reason we don't is because we tell the truth about when the government of a city is against you for investing in their town, for buying poorly shaped houses and fixing them up and spending money at Philadelphia stores, which generates tax dollars, creating jobs for contractors and subcontractors to come and do the plumbing, do the painting, do the roofing. When the city is against that, it tends to make me think, if you don't want me here, I'll go somewhere else and do real estate deals. Not like I
Exactly.
can't.
Exactly.
I know a place called Florida where I'm more than welcome to come down there. I don't need a license to be a landlord. I don't need 4 licenses like they have in Philly. That's right. You're hearing me correctly. You need 4 licenses to be a landlord in Philly. Possibly you might only need 3 depending on what you do if you don't wholesale. It's ridiculous. So okay, so I'm gonna make a prediction right now based on what we've just discussed that sometime around July 4th, 2023, we're gonna be due for a crash.
So 2023 we're due for crash, but it's not necessarily about the evictions. It's about all around. It's about, when we talked about it last week too, it's about the fact that they had these mortgage deferments, which I think were insane. That some of the people that took them, like you were saying, that you just pushed a button and you got it. That was crazy.
You remember that guy's house I took you to in Philly where the guy could hardly speak English?
Yeah.
Right. He is still, I have an agreement of sale to buy his house, right? And I told him I won't buy it until you evict the tenant.
Right.
And he doesn't know how to evict a tenant because he
course.
never got his proper licenses.
Of course.
And I told him, I walked him through the whole process. I said, you got to go to HAPCO. I spelled it for him. I told him where it was. I gave him the address. I said, you got to go down there. You got to do all these steps. And then when you get the tenant evicted, I will absolutely buy your house. And this thing's going to go on for until July of 2020.
He's going to be in lots of trouble.
Yeah, because he's never going to be able to even stand in a courtroom and argue his position.
You're absolutely right, and it's sad when you watch some of this. But that guy also, he doesn't know anything on the property. He's not hurting. It's not good.
He's not getting any rent.
He's not getting any rent, but he's not hurting.
He lives off of that money. He needs it.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah. This guy doesn't have. This guy doesn't have a lot of money. That's the reason he wants to sell the house because he knows his house is worth X and he wants to sell it to me, and I'm happy to pay him, but I'm not going to buy it as long as there's a tenant in there. And this is a tenant who's defying him. He speaks to her. He only lives 2 doors away. He owns a property here and he owns a property here with 1 property in between. So he's talking to this woman on a regular basis and she's not leaving.
Yep, I totally get it. But also the pricing of houses is getting ridiculous as well, and people aren't getting more money now. I mean, the influx of money, the flood of money came in. The flood of money came in via SBA loans and IDA loans and PPP loans, and all that's going to stop. And when that stops, and when whatever this stimulus, which I still find it hysterical that everybody was so excited over, what, $3,200? I mean, who cares? It's absolutely silly when they without. I mean, I didn't even get them.
I didn't even apply for it. I didn't get them either.
You get it automatically if you're.
Well, I didn't even get it. I make too much money anyway.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. But it's just insane how you how you just watch this happening. You're watching it happen. You're watching the bubble burst. Look, I'm telling you, we just saw Ethereum and Bitcoin this week, and I say it every week. Bitcoin and Ethereum, or Bitcoin just itself, is a tell for the stock market. This week, the stock market's going to be brutal, and it's going to start to take down the rest of the economy. It's going to take down the mortgage, the housing industry. It's going to take down the car industry. It's going to take down everything. It's going to be insane, and we're going to sit here and watch it. Do you know that car? I mean, I mean, I know you don't talk about cars, but I will for a moment. Do you ever go drive by a car dealer lot right now? They're empty. The lots are empty. They can't get the cars. And they can't get the cars because of what happened during COVID. They had all these people not working. The cars weren't being built. It's the same thing with lumber. Why lumber is twice as much money. It has to stop. What goes up eventually has to come down.
You know that video I made that I haven't shown you yet?
Yes.
It's entitled, Trees Do Not Grow to the Sky.
Yes. Tell us about that video.
Yeah, I'll get into it in today's show.
Okay.
All right, so what we're saying here is we think that the real estate market is definitely going to crash in this area, but we're probably projecting mid-2023. That's what I think, at least. So let's go to the next question. Is there anything people spend more on than their home?
Well, it's kind of a weird question.
Why?
Because when you say more than their home, I mean, it's kind of obvious that the price of what their home is, if it's $300,000 for a home, it's obviously higher price than a car or anything else.
Well,
right?
that's not what I meant. When I wrote this question, I was more thinking of improvements that you would do to your home.
Oh, you mean like if you
Yeah.
And
People love their homes. They spend
Right.
tons of money on it.
Yeah, and again, you might have somebody with a condo, and the condo doesn't. You can't spend much money on a condo. I mean, what can you spend? $30,000 at most if you do the kitchen and two bathrooms.
Well, you can't spend a whole bunch of money on your car without making some kind of silly improvements. Like
I've done that.
Making it faster, making it louder. I don't even understand that for 1 minute. Ever been in New Hope sitting down by like a restaurant and a motorcycle comes by? The thing is so loud you can't hear yourself think for 20 minutes while he moves it backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards until he gets it in the perfect parking spot. Man,
I don't know. That's me usually.
really?
Yeah. And by the way, in Harley Davidson, you don't have to wear a mask.
Is your motorcycle real loud?
It's loud. It's
Okay.
It's not extra loud, but it's loud.
Well, let me just add another checkbox of something I don't like about you.
That's like. Let me tell you something, Phil. If you had to add the checkbox of my motorcycle being loud that you don't like me, I'm doing pretty good in your book.
Last night, Friday night, we went out to dinner, Larry and I and our wives. And then my wife on the way home said, why don't we go get another cocktail? So we went to this bar, and here was a bunch of people who knew Larry. And I had to listen to several of them complaining about Larry.
Yes, you can come to investorschooling.com and RSVP this Thursday so you can talk to me and you can find out why everybody doesn't like me.
Well, why you're a very valuable person to know, but
I'm extremely obnoxious. I understand.
Yes.
Okay,
so is there a way to maximize profit in the next crash?
Oh, by the way, just real quick, 855-939-1137. You guys can call in, 855-939-1137. It's been a half an hour. We haven't even told the number yet. 855-939-1137. Please call in. Tell me if you like my math story, or if you never want to talk to us again because of the math story. Find out, if you think the real estate market's going to crash or anything else you want to do to talk about money right now. 855-939-1137. All right. By the way, I just want you to know that Phil texted me, the producer of the show, texted me and said that he really appreciated my story, my math story.
Well, he's what you might call a buck kisser. All right.
He gets paid no matter what. He doesn't get paid if he likes my story.
Is there a way to maximize profit in the next crash?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So if you were at Investor Schooling on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, if you listen to my commercial where I say, get your butt to Investor Schooling, you can learn something. I was talking about what I did after the 2008 crash in Florida, which made me quite a bit of money because of the investments that I made down there. I went down to Florida. I borrowed millions of dollars in private money. I bought mobile home parks, beach houses, multiple beach houses, lots of duplexes. And then I, at what I believe was the right time, maybe a little bit early if I was guilty of anything, selling it a little bit early. But we have a little slogan in Investor Schooling. We say, nobody went broke taking a profit. Okay, and that applies to the stock options, and it also applies to real estate. So when you see a profit sitting there, sometimes you take it. So this is an important thing. It's one of the reasons I was talking about when would there be a real estate market crash. Because I think it's important to know that it's probably coming, know approximately when it's coming, and more importantly, know what to do when it comes. And if you really want to know that, you need to become a student of money, a student of real estate investing, and a student of stock option investing. And guess where you can do that, Larry? InvestorSchooling.com.
Schooling, of course, right, of course. InvestorSchooling.com. I knew that.
So if you'd like to know something about money and you'd like to learn something about financial literacy, I want you to get your butt to Investor Schooling this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Guess who you can bring with you? Anybody you want. Bring your girlfriend, bring your wife, bring your mom, your dad, all your friends. Bring them.
Remember that time we had that guy bring his first time date to us?
No, who's that?
I forgot who it was actually, but it was very, very funny. Like he brought a first-time date to us. He was on it. He said, "I want to go to this school," and he brought his date. It was about a year ago.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to put what you just said in the same category as the car story.
I could tell. I see that I'm just bombing out today. You know.
All right. Well, let's go to something that maybe you won't bomb out on.
Okay.
How about this question? Why do you think the stock market is heading south?
All right. So the stock market, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff is about to happen. First of all, we have the Biden effect going on, and you know whether you're a conservative or a Republican or a Democrat or whatever you are, Biden is definitely going to affect the market, and it's happening. It's already happening.
Affected in which way?
It's going to go down. It's
Negatively.
going to go down a lot. Yeah. Now, I'm not. I mean, we're not looking at a crash like last year for the temporary COVID kind of crash. We're probably looking at maybe the stock market will drop to 29,000, 28,000, and it'll settle there for a little while. In fact, we're gonna enjoy this because it's going to be an enjoyable ride down. As long as I'm in a bunch of put plays, and we keep informing our students to be in a bunch of put plays, and we're going to watch it ride down. And then it's going to settle into a new range, and we're going to play that new range, and we're going to be fine. It's not a big deal. But if you have stocks like in your 401k or stocks with your stockbroker, you might be prepared for a downturn. Now, at the same time, if you do have stocks, don't worry about it, especially if they're in for the long term. It's not a big deal because if you're in for the long term, you're just gonna hold them and continue on what you always do. So it's not a big deal. All right, but as far as the stock market tanking, it's gonna hurt some people. And this week, I'm telling you, Bitcoin is a tell. This week is going to be ugly.
Well, I know that you've been saying that for quite a while, that Bitcoin is kind of an indicator of what's going to happen in the following week, and you've been pretty accurate on that.
Yeah.
And you did that all by yourself without the help of the stock option sultan.
Yes.
Who will be here, by the way, at the end of today's show.
He won't be in the bathroom, from what I understand.
He might be. I think he will be now that we've got someone who that bothers. I think he will be in the bathroom.
I can't find the sound effect.
We work really hard at Investor Schooling to develop a strategy to make incredible amounts of money off of stock market options. And it was going awfully smooth.
Yeah, it was. It was going great.
Until the Biden effect.
Yeah. Definitely.
And, boy, we're still going to deal with it, and we're still going to have opportunities to make lots of money, but definitely it feels like the government is working against us, very much like the Philadelphia government, the local Philadelphia government is working against real estate investors in that city. And one of the reasons that Mr. Phil Falcone, is focusing on real estate deals in Florida. Because I don't want to fight a 9,000-pound gorilla. What I want to do is go conduct myself as an investor, as a free individual, buy properties, sell those properties, improve those properties, make money. Actually make money. And I know that the whole government today is, we're going to have the rich pay for everything. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's go to the next question. What do you think the future holds for professional investors?
Yeah, so this is great. So there happens to be a lot of amateur investors out there, and those people will disappear. They will get scared. They don't understand that when the real estate market is down, that's the time they should be buying up real estate like crazy. And then you and I, we own a bunch of real estate, and what's going to happen is whatever value, let's say it's $5 million worth of real estate that I own, or $100 million worth of real estate that you own, that number might drop, and that's fine. So it drops a little bit. So it's only $3.5 million, and it's only $50 million for you. Who cares?
You wanna buy some real estate?
What do I want to buy? Your real estate?
Yeah.
What are you gonna sell me?
I'll sell you Executech Suites.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, we're gonna put a big number on it though.
You know what? If the numbers work, I'll take it. I thought you were never going to sell that.
If I move to Florida, I might want to.
Will you do owner financing?
No.
Well, why not?
We could talk about it.
All right. Well, I would consider buying Executech. Absolutely.
All right.
As long as Terry stays there and runs it.
No, that's not going to happen.
Oh well, then it's worth half of what you paid for it.
So what concerns do you have for professional investors? What do you think is going to happen?
I think those are the people who are going to hit it, and they're going to hit it big.
And they're still going to make plenty of money.
They're going to make plenty of money.
Right.
In fact, I'm telling you right now, and
Well, that's good because I consider, we're professional investors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
And just like I've been saying in class, start getting available credit lines, start getting money, start having cash put aside, because when the market tanks, you're going to be the only one who's going to be able to buy stuff. You need to get HELOCs. You need to get the HELOCs ready to go, so when something comes up, you can buy it. You could put 30 to 40% down where somebody else has no money and they can't buy it. You're going to be the only one out there. You see a cash deal, that's an incredible cash deal. Somebody's selling a $150,000 property for $100,000, and you're the only one who can buy it. You're buying it. That's how a lot of us made a lot of money. Now, how that money came to us now.
Right.
You need to be ready to go.
Not only that, but the fact that real estate prices are at an all-time high right now. So if you go and apply for a HELOC from a different bank other than the one that you already may have a HELOC with, the new bank is going to use the new numbers.
Correct.
And the new numbers are going to be significantly higher than the numbers you currently have. So you might have a line of credit, a home equity line of credit right now, revolving home equity line of credit for $150,000. You go to another bank, you might get one for $225,000. That's $75,000 more dollars that you can use to buy real estate, to buy stock options, to make moves with.
And you want to get as many HELOCs as you can. You can get HELOCs sometimes on investment properties, depending on the bank. And you want to be able to have those all ready to go. Credit cards. I mean, we teach people to get credit card access, because eventually what's going to happen, and it happened last year. Did you have any credit cards that lowered your limit last year?
I had that happen to me not last year, but maybe like 3 years ago,
Right.
when my balances were getting a little high, above 30%. That's when they knocked me down a little bit. But I don't have that problem now because of the
Right.
strategy of applying for more credit cards. Solve that problem.
Right. So last year I had two credit cards. One was Barclay and one was American Express. Lowered my credit limit for no other reason than they were just scared. They were fearful. And it's fine. I didn't really care. It didn't make much of a difference to me. I mean, so what? So my available credit on credit cards went from 700 to 680. Who cares?
Right.
But it was interesting to watch it happen just as I predicted it would when the market gets scary. So maybe my 720,000 available on credit cards right now, maybe it goes to 300,000. That's still probably 4 times what the average person has available on their credit cards.
I don't know if you're going to lose that much, but anything's possible.
Yeah, exactly. But if it does, I
Right.
still have it. And
So
that's
just to
why I have all these other credit cards ready to go.
Yeah, so just to explain to people what we do about that, right? So if you go to Credit Karma, for example, there's a lot of explanations about what goes on with your credit score. And yes, it's true that every time you apply for a new credit card, your credit gets a minor ding, but it's a temporary thing and it comes right back.
Right.
So the idea behind it is you apply for more and more credit cards, more and more credit cards. You don't necessarily have to use the credit cards. You just keep applying for them. And if your balance is $500,000, right, then your ability to utilize 30% of that is a much bigger number. 30% of 500,000 versus 30% of 200,000 is a huge difference.
Or 30,000, which the average person has available.
A lot of people don't even have $100,000 worth of
Right,
credit card
right, exactly.
availability. So I'm not even saying to use it. I'm just saying you apply for the cards. You don't use the cards, or you use them very, very sparingly. And what happens is, all of a sudden, your ability to hit 30% is almost impossible, right? You'd have to be really, really working your credit cards to hit 30% of 500,000, right? So the point is that this is a great financial literacy strategy that we utilize to get extra cash. Now, you might say, I'm not going to buy a house with credit cards. Yeah, you might want to buy a house with credit cards.
We teach that, and,
Yes.
and we've had people make a lot of money on buying houses on a credit card. I saw one of those leading get out of debt people.
Yeah,
probably-
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, that guy.
And
Yeah.
who's the other
Yeah,
one?
he posted
Susie
something-
Orman.
Yeah, well, he posted something the other day, which I thought was the most. Look, I happen to appreciate what Dave Ramsey teaches until I saw this post.
Mm-hmm.
And the post said, "Don't buy investment properties until you pay off your primary mortgage."
What does that have to do with anything?
Of course, what does that have to do with anything? And it even says, so don't buy investment property until you pay off your prime mortgage and then save up the money to buy a investment property cash. So when you're 85 years old, you could buy an investment property cash. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Look, the advice that those two give out is safe advice for people
For the
who are
average
not
mediocre
very
person.
savvy and they're really not investors. What the advice that we give out is the most advanced advice that you need to hear if you truly want to be an investor. You truly want to make money in the real estate market as an investor. You truly want to make money in the stock market as an investor. You need to be at Investor Schooling. You are officially invited this Thursday night. Just go to investorschooling.com, put your name and email address in to save yourself a seat. And when you get here, Larry and I will be here to meet you, to greet you, to talk to you, to help you. And you're going to see what goes on here. It's really something special.
It's different than anything you've ever seen before. I mean, if you've gone to those 3-day sales pitch seminars, you'll understand why we're different, and you'll totally get it. By the way, if anybody wants to call in and talk about anything, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. If you're the Porsche dealer and you're all mad that I just went and told that story, feel free to call in too. 855-939-1137.
I thought, what Porsche dealership were you at?
It was the one in near Norristown. I think it's Conshohocken.
Yeah, I've been. I don't really like the Porsches, to tell you the truth, but they look like toys to me. They look like I can't pick up a Porsche and flip it over, but it looks like I can.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just think they're too small, and I'm not a big guy, but I just don't like them.
Yeah, I understand. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I like my BMW
Yeah, your
Z4.
BMW is great. He's got a Z4, and if you have never seen a Z4, it's wrapped in I Buy Houses. And I tell you what, some people say, why would you wrap a Z4 in I Buy Houses? First of all, I think his Z4 looks better in the wrap than the car does normally.
Yeah, it looks cool, but I'll tell you, that car is a lot of fun to drive, man. I drive that thing like crazy. Like, I have a lot of fun with it. It's got the extra wide tires in the back, and when I see a turn coming up, a 90-degree turn, I speed up because it's so much fun to go around those turns.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun.
The car does not, like, skid out. It doesn't, all right? It just handles it. It's like awesome.
Well, are you ready for a new one yet?
You know, if I was going to get a new one, I don't know that I'd buy a brand new one. I like buying cars used.
Right, me too.
Right, so take the car that I'm driving right now. People have come up to me and said, "How much does that car cost? $150,000?" I'm like, dude, you don't know anything about cars.
Yeah, especially a Z4. A Z4 wasn't that expensive even.
Yeah, no, the brand new, they were like $70,000. And I went into a dealer who sold them used, and I found one with only 5,000 miles on it that was 4 years old, but only had 5,000 miles on it. And I bought it for $35,000.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great price. All right, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. Do we even want to bother with a commercial, or do we just want to keep going?
Let's do one commercial.
All right, do one commercial, Phil. Take us out.
Hi, I'm Phil Falcone from InvestorSchooling.com. I'm inviting you to a complimentary class in Langhorne this Thursday night at 7 p.m. I will teach you how to buy ugly houses and make them beautiful. As a bonus, we will also teach you stock option investing. So get your butt to this meeting, 7 p.m. Thursday night, Langhorne.
Yeah, you can go all the way to, like I said, 5945.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool.
Hey everybody, it's Larry Sinus from InvestorSchooling.com. You heard my partner Phil Falcone tell you why you should be there this Thursday night to learn about real estate investing and learn about stock options trading. We're telling you right now, you will make more money than you've ever made in your entire life if you learn these two skills. Be there this Thursday night at 7 o'clock in our Langhorne headquartors. Go to InvestorSchooling.com. Pull over right now. Take out your phone and go to InvestorSchooling.com. RSVP right now. InvestorSchooling.com. See you Thursday.
All right, you're back.
Wow, that was quick. I'm excited. That was a quick commercial break. Awesome. Welcome back to Investor Schooling Live. Hey, if you want to call in, 855-939-1137, 855-939-1137. We're talking real estate. We're talking
Stock options.
We're talking cars.
We're talking get your butt to Investor Schooling this Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
We're talking mass stories. You want to get into the vaccine?
No.
Phil wants to keep this. Phil wants to make this a serious show.
Well, I'm always willing to have fun and everything, but I want to, stick to the topics.
All right, fine. I'm sorry if it's just, if you're just boring.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk to some people out in the audience if that's okay with you.
You do that.
Hey, Mr. and Mrs. I've never invested. Is that you? Are you and your wife a couple who've never invested in real estate, who've never invested in the stock market? If you've never invested in either one of those two vehicles, call me up and tell me, how do you intend to survive in the future? Is it just going to be your job? You're going to have income from your job, and you're going to do that for the rest of your life. To me, that's a terrifying plan. I haven't had a job in probably 30 years now, the last job I had, okay? But I understand not everybody can do what I've done. But the point to it is, I was always terrified of having a job. I did have a job at one point. I was a salesman for bakery equipment. I worked as a mechanical engineer. I have a degree in mechanical engineering. And I made decent money. But I was always afraid, especially because I'm a real wise guy. I'm a joke cracker. I always argue with my bosses and that kind of thing. And I'm definitely the kind of guy who's very prone to being fired or let go because of insubordination, right? That's why the world of being an entrepreneur and having an entrepreneurial mindset has attracted me from a very young age. My parents were entrepreneurs, and I saw the fact, I was so proud of the fact that my parents had their own business, and they didn't need jobs to have to rely on providing for their family because they just made it happen. They just did it, okay? My mom ran a printing company that we had. My dad did the physical printing. My mom did the sales, did the marketing, did the bookkeeping, did the legal work. She did everything. My dad did all the printing, the physical printing that we had in a basement of our house on Pine Road in Pine Valley in Philadelphia. And they never found out we had it there. Da-da-da-da-da. Anyway.
Ooh, I'm telling.
How are you, who've never invested before, but probably always wanted to, you need to get your butt to investor schooling. We're going to invite you to a class. It's a complimentary class. And during that class, we're going to show you some of the special things that we do for people. It's not like anything you've ever seen, all right? We do have classes on Thursday night, and then on Monday nights, we have a completely different kind of meeting. You need to see the process. If you've never invested before, you really need to get your butt to investor schooling on Thursday night at 7 o'clock, because I don't think you're going to be able to survive in the future without having something in addition to your paycheck. Having a paycheck is fine, and if you're comfortable having it and you like your job and all that, that's cool. But you got to do something with the money that you're making. You got to do something with it. And if you don't know how to do that, we're the guys that want to teach you how.
Wow, that was some speech there, Phil. I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed. We should turn that into a commercial or something. Oh, wait a minute. We're on the air. We kind of just did that.
I think it's already a commercial at this moment.
So? Yeah. I mean, we could have Paul, download it and just we could put clips of it all over Facebook and let everybody know how you feel about them.
So, is the stock option Sultan here?
I don't know. He might be in the bathroom.
I haven't heard any noise in the bathroom. Hey, he might be,
Joanne.
He might be here.
All right. So
is this a little early for him to be here?
No, we could probably get him in here. Let's see. Hold on.
Is there anything else on your mind you want to talk about for a minute or two?
No, I think we're pretty good, man. I think that people should get their butt to investor schooling, and not only all the things that you just told them about, we teach them financial literacy.
You're right.
I mean, imagine coming here. Imagine going to a registered rep and the guy's trying to sell you 3 different mutual funds, and he can't tell you about the fourth mutual fund because he's not allowed legally to tell you about it, the one that he doesn't sell. He's not even allowed to tell it to you. We will teach you how they work, and if you want to go buy it from them, go ahead.
I could just tell you
don't sell anything.
One thing about these guys who sell mutual funds. If I hear those commercials about, I'm a fiduciary, those commercials are making me sick.
It's sad when they say they're a fiduciary because they legally can't be a fiduciary. Legally, the legal says that you're supposed to be responsible for somebody's money, right?
Fisher Investments started these stupid commercials, and now everybody's a fiduciary.
Yeah, it's a shame. But
I don't like when people use words I can't spell.
You mean like this one?
He sounds like a mafioso shyster.
When are you ever going to get rid of that?
You want me to delete it? I'll delete it right now if that's really what you want me to do.
No, actually, it's your favorite button to push, so I don't want to take that from you.
All right, you ready?
Stock option sorting. Stock option sultan.
All right, I am the stock option sultan. I'm still wearing the same hat, though. I forgot to bring the hat down.
Yeah, really.
I have to do that next time. Okay, so some quick things going on in the stock market. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be an ugly week. Bitcoin is the tell. Bitcoin is miserable. It's probably because I decided to buy some Ethereum a couple of weeks ago, but that's all right. I don't really care. I just bought it for fun anyway. So Bitcoin is down below 33,000. Yike! Below 33,000 for Bitcoin. It peaked at 60,000 2 weeks ago.
I thought it was like 57,000 or something, but whatever.
60-something,
whatever.
yeah.
Let me ask you something. Is there at any point you'd be, I would imagine at some point, you, the stock option sultan, would be willing to jump in and buy some Bitcoin.
So I actually, my preference really is Ethereum because it's a slightly different product. And I also look at it the way I look at silver. So I tell people to buy silver. It's Ethereum right now at 1,900 is more likely to go to 4,000 than Bitcoin to go to 100. I guess I can't even use these numbers anymore because Bitcoin did hit 60,000, Ethereum did hit 4,000. So it really doesn't matter. It's basically the same thing. But I believe that from 4,000 to 8,000 will be easier for Ethereum than Bitcoin to go from 60,000 to 120,000. So that's why I happen to like Ethereum better. But it's no big deal. It's just you decide what you want to be in. Look, Dogecoin or Dogecoin or Dogecoin or whatever anybody wants to call it. I have no idea what it's called. Was the joke token? Look, it goes to 30 cents and it hits 50 cents. That's not bad, making almost 100% on your money week after week after week. But that's up to you. If you want to do that, that's fine. We don't really teach, although we've actually been thinking about grabbing somebody who's an expert on crypto to teach it.
Yes, we do have somebody here who can help us with that.
And we think we're gonna bring that in just so we can teach it because that's what we do.
Right.
We teach financial literacy, we teach investments, so it might be a good idea for us to bring it in. So if you guys want to learn that too, be prepared to learn it in the future. So
one thing that's pretty scary about it though is that so here comes the government, the Chinese government come out. They make a comment last week. I think it was Thursday.
Right.
They make a comment about how whatever that they're going to regulate it and they're not comfortable with it, blah blah blah, and it totally tanks just like that.
Yeah. So I'm kind of skeptical if that's the real reason it tanks. I do understand.
One of the biggest governments on the planet has said that they're not going to use it. That's something.
There's market manipulation going on, and I
of course.
I wouldn't even be surprised.
But that's just another reason to be scared.
That gets reversed in 2 weeks, where they say, "Well, we're not really going to regulate it. We're only going to sort of regulate it," because it's a typical news article, especially one that's been repeated. So let's go back to some of our favorite stocks like Zoom. Zoom's earnings, is it this week?
Zoom's earnings are June 1st.
5/27. Yeah, no, it's I'm sorry, June 1st. Yeah, right, June 1st. So it's next week. And look, if we can get lucky, and I missed it, my alert went off at 300. My alert went off at 300, and I missed it. By the time I got to my computer, it was already up. It was already up 7 or 8 points, and I missed it. But if it can get 300 before earnings, jump in. It's going to be a great play. So I would do that. Also, Facebook right now is a put. I actually bought the put at 319 the other day. It's already at 316. I'm looking to see Facebook hit 305, and I'm going to jump out of that put. I'd like to see Facebook hit 285 for a call. and I really believe it's going to happen.
Can I challenge you a little bit on the Zoom play?
Sure.
I mean, so let's look at it. We were buying it in the 290s, and we were very happy with that purchase.
Right.
It really hasn't moved. It's a 316. So what? I mean,
but 290 to 316 in a stock option is fantastic.
not at the price of this particular stock option.
Well, the options are pretty expensive. That is true. But even if you make 20% on your money because the premium is so expensive, so what? You make 20% of your money in 3 days. Who cares?
So you think it's a play
Below 300.
with 7 calendar days left to go.
Below 300. If it doesn't go below 300, you're gonna have to wait till after earnings.
Even if
That's
it
it.
did go below 300, it's going in the wrong direction, and then you got to pony up the money and hope it scores by June.
Well, but I would be looking for
You're going the next earnings period?
Next earnings,
Okay.
just in case, right? Just in case I made a mistake.
All right, well, that makes
Absolutely.
sense. That's
Yeah.
safer. But if you were expecting to score on it by June 1st, I don't know about that. I'm not too comfortable with that
I
play.
actually believe that in the next day or two, the stock market is going to take a major hit, and it's going to be a super buying opportunity for Zoom and some other plays. So if Zoom goes seriously, if Zoom goes below 300, jump in, and I would say in 2 days you're going to make your money. You're going to cash in at a probably 20 to 25% profit. Just take it and run and go. The stock option sultan was right again. That's that. But we still got to get. It's got to go below 300. If it doesn't go below 300, all this is blown out of the water.
So what about BABA on the 20th of May? Did anybody really score on that?
No.
I don't think they did.
No,
So-
and that's why we tell people to sell before earnings, and we all got hurt. And we also went through this whole thing the other day. We talked about how certain stocks are being manipulated by Reddit and or some other companies, and we now know how to recognize them. It was something new, and unfortunately, we fell victim to it. But we also learned from it, and that's what experience is all about. That's what wisdom is all about. Now you see something new, and you look for an indicator, which we now call a camel hump, or a camel, and we look for that, and we realize that we're being manipulated. Let's not be in this stock at the moment. And these are some of the things we teach. We teach people how to not make mistakes. We also sometimes learn by our mistakes. And we saw the Alibaba was a big mistake, but I still think Alibaba below 200 is an awesome play. Anything in the like the 202, 203, 205 is a play to 220. I think it's a great play, but let's wait, because if this week we get a crash, like I'm expecting a really big bad down day, and a bad down day would probably be 800 to 1,000 points in the Dow, anywhere from 200 to 350 points in the Nasdaq, and anywhere from maybe 70 to 150 point down on the S&P. If we get that day this week, start bargain hunting, because there's going to be a great dead cat bounce coming right after that.
What's your buy price on Apple?
I'd like to see it in the 1-teens. It's at 125 right now. I'd like to see it in the 1-teens. Yeah, maybe even 117 might be a good play. And then if it goes below 110, I'd add to it.
I was thinking about buying the stock and running some cover calls.
That's actually a great coverage call stock.
That
right
way
now.
I own it, and so if it goes up, I make money, and I can sell cover calls, and I kind of like that. I also like that strategy that you were talking about with, same one with CCL, right? Okay, picking up something that we know is going to pop in the future.
Right.
So maybe going a little bit long on it, maybe going out 9 months, a year on it. I know that those plays don't always work, but this might be, I feel like that's probably going to turn around pretty soon.
Yeah, AAL and CCL are both great plays. I'd really like to see CCL fall below 25, and I'd really like to see AAL fall below 20, but I don't know. It's tough, because you'd love to see this, and you look at the chart and you go, there's no way it's supposed to happen, but it could happen, and if it happens, it's a great play. I mean, AAL is just stalled in the 22 range. It's been stalled there for a little while.
There's some things about that company that bother me.
What, American Airlines? Why?
Yeah. They're always on the wrong side of every political conversation. They supported that whole. They were one of those companies that supported that whole ridiculous moving of the Major League Baseball games.
Oh yeah,
things
yeah,
like
right,
that.
Yeah.
Something about that company bothers me.
Well, I don't understand that. What does a company have to do with being into
Really?
politics?
Why does a
Just
company
shut
have
up.
to be
Yeah.
in politics? Why?
Right.
Really? Just
Right.
shut up and fly us where we want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That's
now
your
you want to
job.
get political about it, and now I don't want to do business with
Oh, wait.
you.
Has your insurance company called you yet and said where you can get the vaccine?
No. Have you gotten a phone call
Yes,
like that?
I was furious. Yeah, my insurance company calls up, Blue Cross Blue Shield calls up and says, let me tell you where you can get the vaccine. I said, why are you calling me? All I want you to do is pay my bills. Don't tell me where to get a vaccine. If I want a vaccine, I'll call my doctor, who, by the way, can't administer it.
This
That's
is
a
your
whole other issue.
medical insurance company?
Yeah, my medical insurance company.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, the things that are going on right now, the political wise, is unreal. It's just unreal. All right, so getting back, also RCL is another one too. I might actually be ready to get on a cruise soon. All you have to do is say, "Hey, no masks," and I'm good.
It
I'd
would
like
be
to
nice.
see RCL hit 75. That would be great if it can get down there. And I would jump all over it. I think RCL is also a great long-term play. Just because it'll be back in the hundreds as soon as the ships start moving again. All right, what else you want to talk about?
I just wanted to comment that that's probably gotta happen soon.
How
How can they let these ships
Right.
continue to sit in a port with summer being here?
Yeah, so I'm going to
How?
tell you that I'm predicting within 2 weeks, the announcement will be made of when ships will be allowed to go out, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be okay for either August 1st or September 1st.
Sounds like a good option play.
It's a great option play, but it's a gamble play. It's not a real. It's not
I know.
a real play.
I know. It's not based off chart
Right,
reading.
right.
It's based
Yeah.
off of a feel.
Yeah. So it's going to be within 2 weeks, and they'll announce it that they're opening cruises up for August 1st or September 1st. They will ask you if you are vaccinated, and they may possibly have masks in the port. And I'm not going because that's ridiculous. I want to go and enjoy myself. I don't
If you
wanna
have
wear
to
a freaking
be
mask.
vaccinated, well, I'm not going to be. I will
Right.
not be doing that under any circumstances.
Yeah, and a year from now, that will all change too. A year from now,
Yeah.
people will forget about, oh yeah, what's COVID? Who cares? No one cares about it anymore. So I'll be waiting for that. But I'm going to say within 2 weeks. So watch that prediction. Within 2 weeks, right before or right after Memorial Day weekend, will be the announcement that says cruises are now are going to start traveling again, which will be interesting. All right, where are we? We got no more time. We got just a few more seconds.
We got a little bit. I can say a few words.
All right, you do that.
All right. So I want to say thanks to our producer, Phil Almquist, for helping us out today. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor on our show, email us at info@investorschooling.com. That's info@investorschooling.com. Are you in a business where you like to do business with realtors, with investors, people who are investing in the stock market, people who are investing in the real estate market? If you're in a business that works with people like that, then you definitely will want to be an advertiser on our show. Just shoot us an email, info@investorschooling.com, info@investorschooling.com. We are